Let's have 8 minutes. Are you started? Oh, good. Right now I'm with Matt. We got 8 minutes. I came here 5 minutes ago. I got to leave another 8 minutes. So you got the quick rundown. Your Permaculture Society. I just want to make mention what I try to do is every day I do almost a video, maybe 3 times a week, 3-4 times a week. Yesterday I had a girl with MS came to my store. 6 months ago she had MS. Today she has no MS. So I was really wanted to do a video of her. I couldn't, so I settled for Matt. Matt is Permaculture Society. Go ahead, you're on.
Alright, well it's been how long? A week since you've been here?
A week.
So what we're doing now, we're just doing a lot of experimentation here.
By the way, my arms aren't around it.
So a lot of our stuff that we seeded, that we direct seeded, is coming up. We have a lot of seedlings. Some of the transplants are doing okay, but they were kind of shocked before we put them out. And what we're doing now is we're trying to find a solution for our mold issue, because the greenhouse was technically a greenhouse but didn't have any ventilation system or heat exchange, so it was not creating enough dry air.
This is for a permaculture environment.
Well, permaculture is just trying to create a natural environment. You're just trying to create a microclimate without using anything synthetic. But we're kind of already in a synthetic world using the greenhouse and stuff. The whole point is to move from the synthetic hydroponics into permaculture, so we're kind of creating a bridge. Right. What we're trying to do, number one, is showing the community how to grow food with these methods. Right. Number two is trying to, on the same journey, trying to create a commercially viable permaculture setup because of the organic certification that they have. Right. If we can work with the CCOF to establish permacultural precedents in the organic certified organic system, then it could be easier for people in the future, because it's a very different system as far as what kind of soil you get, what kind of mediums you're using. Everything's completely different. So for instance, one of the main differences so far that we've experienced is when you bring in organic soil, it is really strict regulations on the organic soil. However, when you use compost without animal manure and just free manure, it's actually just considered mulch. Right. So even though we're planting in it as if it was soil, it's still just considered mulch, so we don't have to use those kind of regulations. Okay. So that's just one example of how it gets very different. We're using a straw. Straw again is mulch, considered mulch in the books. So by using the straw as our growing medium, as our base, that's where actually the roots are going into. Again, it's a much easier way to pass that through the certification process. It doesn't mean it's any less good. These are all hardy plants for the winter time. Yeah, these are all the cold crops. Cold crops. And then there's radishes and things like that. So we're gonna actually see what works best in this weather, and then we're gonna kind of just propagate more of what is working. The other thing is, right now you're gonna build something over the top, right? Yeah. What we're gonna have to do, because of the lack of heat system, we can spend $6,000 to get the heating system, but if we create low tunnels inside the high tunnel, then we'll create a double system. There's also 2 layers just above here, so we're going to have 2 layers on the top, 1 layer or 2 layers on the bottom, and that's going to keep everything nice and warm. What does the layer look like? Well, it'll be just like we're going to use irrigation tubing and stakes. Right. So we'll put a stake on both sides and then run the tubing like an arch, and then cover it with the blankets going all the way down. So you're going to cover all this with blankets? Yeah, well there's growing, that's a lot of blankets. Yeah, we have a lot of material already though. We have leftover plastic, we can try to use that. There's a bunch of stuff we're going to use that's not going to cost us anything. That's one of the essentials of permaculture, is using what you already have. And that's why we're trying to bring it away from a synthetic system, to show that. Because this is the point, people might think, well, I even trying, why not just do it the conventional way in a greenhouse? Right. But what we're trying to do is not necessarily grow the most food, or be the most successful in that short-term respect. We're trying to show a viable way that's permaculture. The whole point of permaculture is using what's all around you, using the natives, integrating like that, integrated pest management. So we're trying. This is a very slow startup on trying to integrate that or implement that system. Now, can you grow fruit trees too this way? It'd be more complicated. You like fig trees and stuff like that. Oh, fig trees, sure, yeah. Fig trees you can grow no problem with something like this. You can out there. I mean, we have enough space to do outdoor apple trees, pear trees, stuff like that. Right. There is a potential with certain, if you can work on certain heating systems, rocket mass heaters and things like that, and really get the environment right, you could potentially grow some subtropical things pending sunlight. Sunlight's a big issue because no matter how warm you keep it, you have to have light. So either you get in grow lights or you have some access to sunlight. So this climate's hard because no matter how much you change the weather, the temperature-wise, you can't really synthesize sunlight without lights or something, which is really expensive, especially for like.
But you want to use this space as a setup for people to come and see.
Yeah, so everything and the whole point of permaculture is everything goes in stages and everything's reused. So all the bales we're using indoors for the winter, when they're nice and broken down, ready to go out in the summer or the spring, we're going to build sheet mulch beds in the spring. So this many bales is going to create an incredible amount of sheet mulch planting space. When you create a sheet mulch bed, it becomes permanent and you keep growing green manure in it every year, so it keeps fertilizing itself over and over. So you never have to fertilize, you have to water very little, and it creates a microclimate.
Can you envision like a Woodstock where people come in here with lots of tents and be around this environment?
Woodstock, like,
Yeah.
like 69 Woodstock? Or
Yeah.
60?
No, like last year's Woodstock.
The fruit festival.
Yeah.
I don't think those people would be very comfortable on a farm. They're the hotel kind of people.
But the thing is, can you see that?
I don't know.
Or you invite people here just to...
Yeah, pending the permits or whatever you need, you have that many people here or something like that. But I think that's
But that's
important.
what you kind of envision,
Yeah,
right?
well, it's to be inclusive. It's a good thing to bring up because we want something that's inclusive,
Right.
not something that turns into what Woodstock turned into,
Right.
because it gets very, bound in its own encampment. So it's like we're trying. The whole point of me looking into permaculture as a raw vegan was trying to bridge the gap between raw vegans and the locavores who were eating meat and local farm-raised stuff because they wanted a way to live ecologically.
Right.
So that was the best way they could. They said,
That's
well, we
right.
can't get bananas and all these fruits delivered from the tropics. We'll just free-range chickens and cows. I don't agree with that as a vegan, and most vegans don't. But the point is, they're trying to do something that's more ecologically conscious. So you could argue that that's actually better than being a raw vegan and getting fruit delivered from all over the place.
So you're in the forefront of locavore, frugivore, and purgatory. Anyway, we got 1 minute left. This is live from Arnold's Way. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Bye.
Show the greenhouse. Show what you point and show what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
You got,
So here's the kale seedlings here. We have radishes. And again, this setup is super simple. It's just a straw bale that we put some nitrogen in and let it break down for a few days. And then we put about 1.5 inches of this organic compost on it. And then just sowed some seeds or put the transplants in. And the point is that the seeds, or the roots of the plants go into the straw itself. As the straw breaks down, it feeds the plants and it holds a lot of water. And also, if you put a thermometer in here, it's creating a lot of heat, which will help us in the wintertime.